What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Kid Flvsh, and I just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard. You dig?
I wear that Mason Margiela, 100 bands in the fit in the sweater. Step my style, but I still do it better. My brother just told me keep playing.
All right, so we got Kid Flvsh jumping off the porch with us today.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. We outside, man. It just flew all the way in from New York, just landed for me. Came straight here to show some love. Appreciate y'all.
Nah, that's love, man. I appreciate you pulling up today, too, man.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, man. So what do you got planned here in Atlanta, man? We were talking off camera. You said this is your first time in the city?
Yeah, bro. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, explore the city, see what the vibes is, see what, what it has to offer. I'm honestly just looking forward to just, linking a lot more connects. I have a few connects out here that I'm going to, link up with I haven't seen in years. Probably see a Hawks game here and there. So, yeah, it's up in the air really right now.
Yeah, that's what's good, man. I think it's like a completely different vibe than from up top.
Yeah.
But it is a vibe, man.
That's a fact. I see some vibes on my way here. I was like, oh, yeah, I got to go outside today.
Nah, definitely, man. So originally from New Jersey, right?
Yes, sir. East Orange, born and raised.
Okay, so man, I haven't had too many, New Jersey artists sit on this board. So just go ahead and kind of paint that picture of what life is like out there, and how does it compare? Most people just think New York, man.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's a little different than the city.
So Jersey, me personally, I don't really be outside in Jersey like that. I feel like I was born in Jersey and I lived there most of my life for like school and regular stuff like that. But when it comes to like me being raised, I personally go off the fact of me being out in New York. That's where I feel like New York really taught me how to be the man I am right now. Like, how to move in the streets, the way I dress, talk, certain things like that. So I wasn't really around in Jersey, although it's pretty quiet. It's like where you go to like retire or like move out the hood, you know what I mean? So I don't really be outside in Jersey. Don't get me wrong, I love Jersey, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Jersey, but I feel like New York is where it was at for me, and that's where it really took off. But Jersey's pretty cool though. It's pretty. Okay. I just really go to sleep though.
Nah, I feel that, man. Thanks. So how'd you get your start? Were you just drawing at first, or were you making music at first? What came first for you?
So it was the art first. I was in 5th grade. My brother, Alicia Keys, shout out Alicia, he used to bring the sketchbook to school every day, and he kind of like inspired me to start drawing. So I picked it up, and I was kind of bad, so I kept it going. I said, you know what? I'm determined. I'm gonna get nice, and then I got nice by just keeping the consistency up and just practicing every day. So it kind of just stuck with me from there, and then it just led me into this whole realm of craziness I never thought I'd be into with all these artists and stuff. So yeah, it's a blessing.
How long did it take for you to get nice at it?
Nice, 13 years and counting.
13 years, wow.
I was drawing since I was 10 years old. I'm 23 right now, so that's 13 years, and I'm still, learning because, you're always a student in the game, so that's how it goes.
Man. And you ended up going out to college too, right?
Yeah. So I went to the Art Institute of Philadelphia first. I went there for like a year and a half, but then they closed down because of like fraud. They stole all of like the tuition of the students. Yeah,
oh,
so
shit.
they canceled my whole shit in like the first like, the last semester. And I'm like, yo, I'm really about to graduate with my bachelor's, and y'all dad just canceled my whole like.
That's wild.
Yeah, my whole major was canceled, so I had to transfer to Pratt. Later that summer of 2017, and then basically I had to restart my whole college career.
Oh, shit.
Ended up getting into my career while I was in Pratt, and I was like, yeah, I'm just sticking with what I got going on. So kind of, I guess you could call me a college dropout.
So what were you studying in college though?
I was studying 2D animation as my major, and my minor was graphic design and illustration.
Okay. Did you actually learn anything there? Did some of these things help?
I would say I learned some things. I learned a few things. I feel like a lot of it was more self-taught, and it was actually a point in time where I actually had to teach one of my teachers a certain like shortcut with like Photoshop. Yeah, it was crazy. Like the whole class was like, oh my God, like you know what I mean? So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So how did you end up getting into like, making artwork, cover art for these artists?
So in my tenure in Pratt, one of my guys, Tyon, shout out Tyon, he hit me up. He's like, yo, bro, I got these artists, EXO and Dave East, and they got this song called Vacation. They need a cover art like right now. You think you could do it? And I was like, sure. I mean, I don't even know what cover art is at the time, so I'm like, why not? So I just do it, and I Googled it real quick, found out the specs that you need, drew it up real quick in like an hour, sent it to bro, and it was on Hypebeast magazine the same day. I was like, oh nah.
Oh damn.
That was crazy. And at the time, back then in like 2017, they had like 4 million followers, and I didn't even know who they were until I like searched them up on the gram, and I seen it. I was like, well, damn. So it just shot up from there. And once it hit the front page, it was just never looking back.
Oh wow! Did you get paid for that first one?
I did. Yeah.
Well, that's a blessing there too.
Yeah. I originally, because I like to do things out of love and from the heart. You know what I'm saying? If you my mans, I'm gonna do anything to like help you win because we all win it together. That's how I look at it. But he still threw me some bills. You know what I'm saying? Under the table after everything was done. So yeah, shout out him.
No, that's dope, man. So do you have like a normal creative process that you go into when you start working on a certain song for artwork? Or?
Most of the time, not really. It's just kind of on the spot, really. Like people don't really give me a lot of time to like sit there and think about things unless it's like a big release that's like planned way ahead of time. But most of the time they're like calling me like ASAP, like, yo bro, could you do this in like 2 hours? I'm like, well, you didn't give me no time, you just give me creative direction and just let me go off on my own little tangent. So I can honestly say from my 5-year journey starting in 2017 up until now, I've never missed not a single cover art. Like it was not a single person that told me, oh, nah, this is bad, I don't want to use this. Like everyone has always went through this. So I'm on a little home run streak.
No, that's what's up, man. So do they normally send you the song so you can kind of get the vibe to it, or sometimes they don't even give
here
you the
and
song?
there. Here, it depends on the artist, because certain artists, you know, they're really sensitive about their music and they don't want it to get leaked or stuff. Even though I don't personally leak that because I feel like it's very unprofessional and it's not something that my brand or my business does. But when it comes to sending music, it'll be like a 30-second snippet, so I really don't actually get the vibe of it. So it's just like, well, damn, I gotta just kind of go either off the name of the song, or just like if they give me a small description of how it is, like if it's a love song or a heartbreak song or something, I could just make something up off of that concept, and then go from there.
Do you prefer them to give you some direction, or do you prefer to just kind of just go off of what you feel off of it?
I would say it's a little bit of both. I would prefer the direction because I feel like it gives me insight on what they personally want, because, you know, when you have to go back and do changes, it gets kind of tedious and annoying. And that's like one of my pet peeves with cover arts. Like the amount of changes I have to do on a cover art is crazy. So normally artists really don't have a direction. They just kind of leave it up to me. So luckily I was blessed with a very creative mind. So I was able to knock some stuff out. But I do prefer if artists like work with me, or if I'm like in person with them, like how we are now. I feel like it's easier to like knock it out because I can see where you like direction is going, like, you know.
Do you feel like that kind of brings out the best out of the
and I work a lot faster in person too. So like, because that's one of the reasons why I got my name Flvshs, is because I draw very quick. So
that's dope. So on average, how many edits do these artists send back per project then?
Oh man, that's a very good question. I would say, well, on the recent cover art that I just did for Lil Tjay, I had to do 14 different versions of the cover art. Yeah, and it was like these slightest changes. I swear to God, bro, it was like, hey, could you move the text up like 2 inches? Or hey, could you make this color blue a little bit darker? Or like, I'm like, well, damn, bro. Like, the slightest things causes the most changes because everything is done in layers, so it's just mad hectic, but work still gets done. So.
Do you think those changes come from the artists themselves, or just either management or the label?
From my experience, I would say it's the management, because the artist, unless the artist is like really into like whatever is going on, then yeah, but it's probably like 10% out of 90 that's happening, you know what I mean? So I would say the management more so puts their input, like they have creative sparks here and there, and they just like, oh, maybe if you try this or do that. And they usually go to the artist for like the final decision, like, all right, this is it. And then it's out.
Yeah. So how did you lock in with TJ? Because we know you did a lot of covers for him too.
Yeah. Shout out Lil Tjay. My brother Lou Mota, he's the senior vice president of A&Rs at Columbia Records. He has me doing a lot of like TJ stuff. My other guy, JD Banks, was the first person to actually get me tapped in with Banks Management. They had me do the Brothers cover art back when it was now coming out on all major platforms. Like he was just on a SoundCloud level at that point, and I actually like didn't even know who he was until they like followed. Like he was following me on the gram, not TJ. JD was following me on the gram, and he just see my work, and he's like, "Yo, bro, I got this new up-and-coming artist at the Bronx. His name TJ. I really want you to do his first single art for his releases on the platforms." And when I did Brothers, I never thought it would like be this whole lineage of just cover arts that we just come up with and stuff. Now, you know, looking back, it's like 2 times platinum now. Just it's crazy. But
I saw on the gram you put that every cover you did for him, the song either went gold or platinum.
Yes, sir. It was crazy. It was a blessing because it's like I seen that. I was like, it feels like yesterday when I just did those cover arts. You know, I remember every single one of those cover arts in each time period, like when I was making it, how it was made, and just the process, and to see over like a few years, like 3-4 years, like all of the songs that I did cover arts for either are like multi-platinum or gold. It's wild to me, because that's actually how I got my name. And shout out Lou, because Lou actually made it a reality. Because it's one thing to say you're a multi-platinum cover artist, but you don't have the physical plaques to prove it. And now I actually have a few of them and more on the way. So it's just like, he really helped me stamp that title. He made it real for me. So I'm saying, so shout out Lou. And yeah, that's where we at now.
Is that common for the graphic designer to actually receive a plaque for that, or is that rare?
It's very rare. It's super rare. Like, I actually don't even hear people getting credited for the artwork, much less to get a plaque. So being that I don't want to say I'm the first, because there's previous cover artists before me, probably like back in the days, that probably maybe have done it. But I feel like of this generation, I would say I was the first. And I've helped a lot of other cover artists, get their plaques and their just dues. So that's my whole thing, just trying to push that narrative for us cover artists, because we don't get a lot of respect at all. And it was the same thing for producers at a point too. Mm-hmm. So nowadays, I feel like we matter just as much as the producers, because you can't even put out a song without the cover art. Like, it's a requirement. So yeah, bro, it was not common at all. I was like one of the pioneers for doing that. So
that's super dope, man.
Thanks.
So how important would you say the artwork is for a song and for its success as well?
I'd say it's very, very important. Like, it generates the aesthetic that you build for the song leading up to the release. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, when they put out a song, for example, they put out the cover art first to get people hyped, to see the energy from the artwork, to get them like, oh man, I'm ready to hear this song, whatever it's gonna entail. You know what I mean? So it was like the same thing for like when I did the City of God's cover art. Like, I actually didn't even know it was gonna be there. Like, they was using it or nothing. It was a crazy story with that. But when I scrolled and I seen it, they promoted the cover art. So I'm like, you see, like, that shows the importance of it, because there wasn't no snippets of the song. It was no like nothing. You didn't even know what the song was gonna sound like. It was just the cover art and a couple other like pictures in like a timeline. So I'm like, that right there should just prove to everyone why the cover art is so important. It really just builds that hype up, you know what I mean? And like I said, you can't upload a song without the cover art. So it's just a requirement.
No, definitely, man. Mm-hmm. So how did you get that opportunity for City of Gods?
Lou again. Lou's gonna be the talk of the town in this interview, because he honestly, bro, he really just helped me get a lot of big cover arts, and helped me stamp this lane that I'm trying to step into and build for other people to walk into as well. So he literally hit me up on a random day. I was just wake up, literally fresh off the wake up, drawing. He hit me up like 8 o'clock in the morning. He was like, yo, bro, I got this big cover. I need it right now, 2 hours. You got me? I said, 2 hours? God damn, like, that's bad. That's bad short of a time frame, but I got you, bro, no worries. I did a first draft. He gave me these like emojis to base it off of. It's like a snowflake for Fivio, the teddy bear to represent Kanye, and the keys like from the piano to represent Alicia Keys.
3 emojis. This is what you had to go off of.
I swear to God. And I'm like, how the hell am I gonna pull this off in 2 hours? Like, this is OD. So I just, I didn't even think about it. I think my best art comes out when I don't think about it. Because when you think about it, you overthink, and then you kind of mess up and make mistakes. When I do it like off the just natural vibes, it comes out the best. And we did it, and they liked it. Everybody liked it except for Ye.
Shocking, right?
Right? Yeah, he's very specific and precise with what he wants to do creatively. So when they told me that he didn't like it, it wasn't like he didn't like it because it was like bad. He didn't like it because the teddy bear was supposed to represent like his graduation bear from Takashi Murakami, and I feel like that was like an end of an era. You know what I mean? So it's just like you don't want to relive that. He's in a whole new, realm of whatever he's doing. So I was like, the best way to represent him is with the all black background, because Donda was all black. So I feel like that was a big representation for him instead of, the bear. And once I did that with the new version of the cover art with the statue of Tita and everything like that dancing, that was the one. And it's crazy because I didn't even know it was the one until I was just scrolling on the ground. I seen Fivio post it. I was like, oh shit, they used it. Like,
do you normally get noticed when it is approved though? Or?
Yeah, but I feel like this one was so rushed because it was like a 2-hour time frame, and it was like so all over the place. I'm like, well, damn, I don't know if it's gonna be used, because you know how like when you in the midst of doing it, and then you got back and forth text, and then you send the last version, and then nobody responds, And it's just that awkward silence. It's like, fuck, are they gonna use this or like, what's going on? Like, I don't want to keep double texting because now I'm seeing like I'm fiending or something. So I'm like, God, just take the wheel. Let me know what's the vibes. And then later on that day, I seen it posted. I was like, yeah, it's up. It's up. So shout out Lou.
Now, do you hand draw all of these?
Yes, sir. Everything from scratch. I don't use no stock images. I don't trace. I look at references, but rarely. It just depends on what I'm drawing. But normally, most of the time, I can just sit here and just look at everything I'm looking at and just draw it straight on. So.
Oh, shit. Do you feel like that's what separates you from a lot of other designers out there then?
I do, honestly, because a lot of like graphic designers, they do draw, some of them, but I feel like they stick in one style. Like you could just tell it's one style. Like for example, another great cover artist, shout out Gallery Province. Gallery Province does a lot of, Atlanta artists and, other artists around the country, but I feel like he has this style, which is fire, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, you can tell it's his style. I feel like with me, I switch it up every other cover art. Like you can't tell this is a Kid Flvsh cover art because it's not gonna look like the last one. Every time it changes, it shifts. So and plus I draw like in many different styles. I could do cartoon, I could do realistic, and et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like that alone really helps me like differentiate my artwork from other artworks and just puts me in my own category personally.
No, absolutely, man. All right, so I want you to share some advice for some designers, man, because even on our page, every post we make, someone is spamming us, $5 artwork, hit me up if you want a cartoon. Our DMs are flooded with this too, man. And I'm sure this does not work.
Yeah.
So please give some game on how these people can actually land some placement. Like
so the way that I've learned to do it, don't go in the comments. Don't, hey, let me DM you for some artwork. Don't do that. It's just gonna make you look like a bot, and nobody likes bots. So what I would say is to just, be patient, be humble with your work. You have great work. So I feel like as an artist, you should go around their management. Look at the mutual followers they have, like their managers, the label reps, friends of the friends, because those people are gonna be the ones to really answer your DMs right away. Because if you DM a person that has like 1 million followers and is verified, it's very, very unlikely they're gonna check your DM. Yeah. But if you hit like the management or something and you say, hey, I feel like, and it's all about the approach too. You really gotta know how you're approaching, because it's all about the deliverance. If you deliver it a certain way, you could either come off as like you're reaching, or you could come off as like, hey, I'm a professional, I'm trying to work. You always wanna go off on the professional side. Hey, I feel like, me and your artists have a significant style we can build together. How can I, work with you guys to build your look or your image or whatever you want? And it's like certain phrases and words that you got to say in order to like coerce their mind to be like, yeah, this guy sounds professional. He sounds like he knows what he's doing, or she, you know what I mean? And it goes like that. And then once you do get in the door, don't like kick it down right away. Take it a step, peek around, tiptoe a little bit, you know what I mean? Because sometimes it is good to be hungry, but it's also, good to tame your hunger sometimes, because you don't want to be seen too hungry, because then that gives off a certain energy, and you don't want to have anybody kind of look at you in a certain way. So I would say, yeah, just be patient, be humble, go around through the friend circles, those type of groups, and just once you are working, don't like brag, don't post it, don't see like, oh my God, I'm working on this for that person, because that is the quickest way to lose that connect. I swear to God. Because I used to do that back in the day when I was first started. I used to be like, oh my God, I'm working with this person. And then we would still work because they needed it, but after that, it kind of goes silent. So it's just like, okay, I see what I was doing wrong, so now I kind of corrected myself, and now I'm back on my path. And everything comes with a learning experience, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna make mistakes on the way, but how you get back on the path is what really matters. So I would just say that.
No, that's excellent advice, man.
Thank you.
All right, so now you're an artist yourself.
Yes, sir.
You're making beats as well. So
yeah.
How and when did this all start?
Believe it or not, I started making beats off my phone.
Really?
I made beats off my phone back when I was in like 8th, 9th grade. I used to take the school bus to school every day, and I had FL Studio Mobile on my phone, and I used to just make beats all the time in class, on the way to school, on the way home from school. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of built, and then when I actually got that real program for my desktop, it was just like the easiest transition because it literally felt the same. So I was like, wow. And then over a couple months, a little bit of time passed. I got more nice with my production style. I started, studying other producers that I personally like. Just trying to not mimic their style, but use elements of what they have and just kind of make it my own to give myself my own sound. And it's been going well. I produced my first song, Mosh Pit. That's the first song I produced and wrote by myself. It was early 2019 or 2020, I believe. And yeah, so I put my first song out in 2019, but that was my third song that I put out after all of them.
Okay, no, that's dope, man. So what, is there a single that you're pushing right now, or you got one that you plan to drop soon?
Yes, actually my birthday is coming up on 4/20, so I'm dropping a little EP. It's called For Fun, literally because I was just in the booth having mad fun. So yeah, it's a little 7-8 project EP, excuse me. And from there, yeah, I'm just gonna be pushing that all April. I got some good blogs and stuff like that ready to post, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, it's gonna be a movie. I'm excited.
Okay. So what's your creative process? Do you normally make the beat first and then, just come up with the lyrics, or?
So when I'm making the beat, normally when I got it into like the loop for the hook, I just kind of let the loop play around for a little bit, just get the vibe, get the vibe, see how I want to take the beat also in a certain direction, because I like to switch up my beats as well. But as the loop is playing, I also kind of freestyle as well too. So I kind of just like freestyle now. I'm also practicing my freestyling. I'm not like 100% the best yet, but I can spit some shit if I really get in my bag. Like I said, it's all about a mental thing. So if I think about it too hard, it's gonna be trash. But if I just just let the beat carry my thoughts, I might just fuck around and say some fire shit. I ain't gonna lie. So, but when I sit down and write, I feel like that's when I get my best penmanship. Like it gets crazy when I sit down and write. So,
how would you describe your style of the music that you're making, man?
It really gives like the Memphis, Atlanta bop, but also with the aggressiveness and grunge of New York. So it's like the three meshed into one, I feel like, because like, I don't know, I just try to be as unique as possible with everything I do. So I don't want to sound like anyone else, or I don't want anybody to be like, oh, this sounds like that person, or making comparisons. I don't like that type of stuff. So if it doesn't sound like a Kid Flvsh song or beat, I don't really think I'm gonna like, proceed in that lane, because then I don't want people to, like I said, point your fingers and be like, oh, you sound like that person. So I try to be as creative as possible. But that process is pretty, it's pretty quick. Honestly, everything I do, majority of the time, is pretty quick. I don't know why.
You gotta live up to the name.
You gotta live up to the name, apparently, yeah. So it just naturally happens mad quick. So I make the beat, because once I hear the sample, I just know how the beat is gonna sound already. I know what kind of hi-hats I'm gonna do. I know what 808s I'm gonna put. And once I get the meat and bones of that done, and that loop just hits, I'm in there just writing, freestyling, saying anything that comes to my mind that sounds fire, nitpicking it, and then the song is born.
Yeah. So how do you balance everything?
Time management is one of my biggest things. Like, I used to be very terrible with time management, if I'm to be honest with myself right now. But over time, as I've gotten farther into this industry and working with a lot of other, professional individuals in the like big positions, watching them live showed me how to do that balance. I just like jotted down mental notes, and I was like, okay, so you do this, set this time for this time frame here, you know what I'm saying? It's 24 hours in a day. I'm blessed enough to have access to the full 24 hours in my day. So I feel like if I schedule my day out doing this for this amount of time or that for this amount of time, it really helps me like schedule myself, almost like a class schedule, if you would. Like, I treat my life like it's a college schedule. So from 6 a.m., because I wake up every day like 6 or 5 a.m., depending on the day. From 6 a.m. to like 10 p.m., I'm doing like sketches, warm-ups, drawings and stuff like that. Then take a little 30-minute break in between. Then from like 10:30 to like, I don't know, like 1, I'll probably just do some paintings. And then from 1 to, just throughout the day, I just switch up different things. So like, it feels like I'm going to different classes, even though it's not. So it really helps me time manage myself and get that balance that I need to get everything done.
Do you try and not take on too many clients then, or?
Yeah, before I used to take a lot of clients, because my drawing is like the fastest thing that I can possibly do besides like running. So when I draw, I can literally draw like everything they need within like the hour or two, depending on what it might be. But being that it happens so quick, I have a lot of time in between to like, you know, do anything else that I want, because once it gets approved, that's it. I don't have to do nothing else. So if it only take me 2 hours, you know what I'm saying, I still got like 22 hours left in my day. So it's just like, all right, cool, I finished this cover art. I could knock out another one, or some people ask for logos here and there, or all types of different stuff. So yeah, just being quick really helps me balance everything too. So
your turnaround time is like same
impeccable,
day.
impeccable. Yeah.
That's crazy, because I've dealt with some graphic designers, and it's like,
Yeah, man.
here I am 2 weeks later, like, bro, just send something.
Yeah, bro. Like even the sketch, and then that's one thing I learned, because I used to think like that back like in like 2018, 2017 when I first started. I used to think like, damn, if I don't send them the final piece, it's like, why am I sending it? But I'm like, nah. Over time, I'm like, yo, if you just send them the sketch just to show them the direction, that could go a long way. Because now, what if I finish the whole thing and I send it to you, and you're like, could you change that, move this here? Actually, I don't like the way my face looks, erase the whole thing. You would not believe how many times I had to start a cover art over from scratch because someone was mad indecisive on what they wanted. It's so annoying, but I'm a very patient guy, which I don't like, but I do like at the same time. So that right there just really made me like want to change it up. I was like, nah, I gotta really be this guy that does everything on point and has to do it in an efficient amount of time, because you can't call me Flash if I'm moving slow. So it just wouldn't make sense. I'd just be a walking contradiction. So you don't want to be that. So yeah, man.
And I saw on your IG, man, you shared some sketches of a comic book that you're working on,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
So was this something you've always planned on doing, or was this just something that just came to you one day? I was like, all right, I'm gonna just draw this.
It was in the works for a little while. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't start off with that character originally. It started with this like Fox character that I had called Bandit. That was the first character I ever created. Like back in 5th grade, that was the first character I ever created. And I've been building him for my whole life. This whole journey I've been drawing up until now, since I was 10 years old up until now, I've been drawing that one character. And I've always just, you know, been into creative writing and stuff like that. So I've developed his story, the world, building, everything like that, character development, everything. It's just like, when I came up with that character that I recently posted, I was like, nah, that's fire. Because this is like a brand spanking new style that no one's ever made besides me. So I was like, yeah, I gotta push this one. So it's pretty easy for me to come up with characters and like storylines, because it's just like it's like copy and pasting old formulas, but you switch up certain things to make it your own. And with that element that I have, because I really nitpick it. So if I want to make this character like an Indiana Jones kind of character, I could do that, but I would nitpick the whole Indiana Jones like timeline and then figure out, okay, I'm not gonna copy the whole thing. I'm just gonna do like, all right, maybe his started off similar like how Indiana started, but something else that changed the course of his direction made him go on this path, which makes it a whole nother story, and you can't even compare it at that point. So from there, that's how I really kind of build my creative direction when it comes to like story writing and character building. So
Nah, it looks really dope, man.
thank you,
wait to
bro.
check
Appreciate
that
it.
out, man.
Thanks.
So what's some short-term and what's some long-term goals you got for yourself, Flash?
Short-term goals, I want to definitely get one of my beats produced this year or in the near future. I feel like it's at that point now where I could really shop it around and get somebody dope on there. Another short-term goal would just be to drop the comic book, because being that I draw very quick, it's a lot easier for me to do the panels and get them situated, being that I know the story. So that's another thing that I want to drop before summertime. Long term, I do animation as well, like full-fledged cartoons. So I want to get one of my animated series called The Flies on like a network sometime in the near future, whether it be like end of the year or like however long it may take. But I got a few eyes watching right now, you know, seeing Comedy Central's in the DM right now. So we talking some things out, but it's not secure yet. But yeah, just working on animation is my long-term thing, and I'm also doing an NFT series that I'm building right now. So yeah, I'm about to drop that more so towards the end of the year. So that's more of a long-term goal.
Yeah, big things in the works, though.
Yeah, man, just trying to keep the ball rolling, you know.
Absolutely.
Just take it a day at a time.
Yeah, any shout outs you like to give before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, shout out my brother Corey St. Rose. I got his True Colors drip on right now for me. Living Too Fast Deluxe out right now. Go get that. Shout out my boy Don, Spaz, the whole Williams crew. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Finn, Mom, Dad. We outside. My sisters. Lou, thank you, Lou, for everything, bro. Majority of the stuff that I have right now, I couldn't have if it wasn't for you. Shout out to Winter Circle, because that's home team right there, too. Winter Circle, home to Chef G, Sleepy Hollow, Eli Frost, Jay Beezy. Shout out them. And that's all I can really think of right now. Shout out everybody who messed with me for me. And we going to the top this year, baby. You dig?
I wear that Mason Margiela, 100 bands and it fit in a sweater. Still my style, but I still do it better. My brother just told me keep applying the pressure. I'm smoking on